So many people misunderstand the idea of surrender. They think surrender is a disposition in life, that I should sit around high on my mom's couch, broke and sick all the time, dreaming about what I want. What a blessing it is to be here today, on my mission to empower over 1 billion people. And, for me, I've lived in 3 worlds, and I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes, and then we'll get to do what I love to do, which is answer anything and everything you have, any curiosities you have. I travel the entire world, over 200 cities, and do meetups because I'm more interested in what people are listening for. My journey led me from a world, as you saw in the video, of not enough, a single mom, 6 kids. She worked 2 jobs. If I sound like I'm choking up, she recently passed. And I think about, for me, her packing my dinner in a paper bag so we could eat in between those jobs. And what I caught from her, my mom tried to teach me, but like most entrepreneurs, we don't really listen to our parents, which is okay, because just because someone loves you doesn't mean they give you good advice, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because most people that love us are more interested in our security and our stability than our crazy dreams. And so for me, understanding that world of not enough, I just wanted to be rich. I wanted to make enough money to provide financial security to my family, especially my mom, to buy her a house and a car. And I believed the only thing missing in my life, as my mom raised 6 kids, 5 boys and 1 girl on her own, that the only thing missing in my life was financial security, and that money would buy me and complete me with love and happiness. And so everything I did, everything I identified with, was how much money I could make or would make or should make. And that lasted through about 36. I had an amazing journey in being able to play college football with very little talent. I used to say that I was an average college football player. Recently, I'm very close to my ex-college football coach. He informed me I was below average. But I learned, by being a below average college football player, to learn to love what I didn't like or didn't love, or other people didn't like or love, which was being consistent and persistent, pursuing a potential that was far below a lot of people's average. Our skills and knowledge, that is our basement. The delta is created by our desire. Sometimes we don't have the requisite skill or knowledge in order to facilitate where we want to be or better, according to an industry, career, job, or pursuit of our potential. But what I learned in the ability to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential was invaluable along my journey. As I pursued making a lot of money, I graduated law school, and although my mom and many others gave me the advice to be a real lawyer, I was offered $150,000 a year job plus bonus in 1992, before a lot of you were born. That was a lot of money to be an oil and gas litigator. But I chose to be an entrepreneur, to be a salesperson in the internet. And I sold, as the video mentioned, legal research online, despite my mom telling me the internet would never work, that it was a fad. Justice Scalia, a Supreme Court justice, told me that nobody would ever do research on the internet, that you needed books. This is the mindset of scarcity. This is the mindset of the doubters, the people who want stability and security for us and hold us back or limit us by giving a meaning of their past to us and inheriting the genetic and energetic inheritance that limits us and our future. But I took the job, and 9 months out of law school was a millionaire, bought my mom a house and a car, confirming money would buy me extraordinary happiness and love, as I felt being 25 years old and a millionaire. And 3 years later, in 1995, our company, West Publishing Company out of Eagan, Minnesota, was sold to Thomson Reuters for $3.4 billion in 1995. Billion. That was a lot of money in 1995, still a fair amount of money today, but there wasn't many $1 billion M&A deals going on back then. And so my life changed from uh, this idea of money would buy me love and happiness to confirming it completely. You would ask me at that time the meaning of money. I was money. Everything. And I went up to the Silicon Valley and made more of it. I learned how to raise money. I learned venture capital in the middleware space. And by 1999, at 31 years old, I was worth over $100 million, married to my dream girl, a girl I met in the fourth grade, a girl who my best friend in sixth grade camp asked to go steady for me. And she said, no, tell him to ask me himself. So I threw an egg at her and rocks at her and asked her why her friends were prettier than her. I was 12. My wife still doesn't believe that that was how 12-year-olds illustrated true love. I tend to disagree because I know how I felt about her. So imagine being 31 years old and having everything you ever dreamed of. Imagine enjoying that consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential of making a lot of money and buying love and happiness. And I never felt as empty as I did when I was 31. I was running Samsung's phone division. They had hired me as the CEO of the first data division at Samsung. I had the world's first convergence device. It was a Windows Microsoft device that never made it. It was too big and too expensive. Once again, people told me nobody would ever have a big phone and pay over $1,000 for a phone. It was actually very cleverly called the PC e-phone. PC-e phone, you can Google it. They used it in the movie The Matrix. That was about the highlight of it. But from there, I was hired to be the CEO of the most renowned sports agency in the world. Not because I was a great sports agent or lawyer, but simply because I was the only one who had a high level of skill and knowledge in technology and venture capital. And Lee Steinberg, the famous sports agent, felt the future of sports in 2000, the early 2000s was in venture and technology. Talk about a visionary. No wonder they made the movie Jerry Maguire about our firm because he was spot on and still is today, spot on where sports is, venture and technology is. The Lakers are going to be sold for $10 billion. Without venture and technology, they would not be worth that much money or sell for that much money. To that end, I fell deeper and deeper, not only being worth more and more money, but having access to what billionaires couldn't even afford to do. As you could see, the sidelines, the Super Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby, Breeders' Cup, ESPYs, Emmys, Oscars, Grammys, behind stage, on stage, with the biggest names in sports and entertainment, billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs surrounding me. Until the day my wife woke me up and told me she was leaving me, told me she was worried, didn't want her kids to see where she thought I'd be. Now, at that time, there was only 4 people in my life that told me that I wasn't the best thing since sliced bread. My dad, my mom, my best friend Rob, who asked my wife to go steady with me in the 6th grade camp, and now my wife. And she told me to take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become. At first, I thought to myself, as I did my mom, my dad, and my best friend, I hate you. Until I realized the truth was I hated myself and I better take stock in who I was, which is what I teach people today. 4 key values, daily practices, behaviors that are aligned in your divine direction to identify the behaviors as good if they're aligned, bad if they interfere with, and an execution model, very pragmatic model on how to effectuate your divine direction and to understand the detours as divine, not punishment. I lost over $100 million and went bankrupt. And people ask me, how did you lose all that money? It's the same way I made it back through values, daily practices, and an execution model. Those values that I teach every day are simple, reminding everyone the simple things to do or simple not to do. Today's Thankful Thursday, and I tell people all the time, the easiest and fastest way to change your life is to say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. It takes 0.1 seconds and it's free. Every single thought leader, world leader, every single billionaire, millionaire, entrepreneur, celebrity, athlete, and entertainer that I talk to will tell you the importance of gratitude in their journey and their success, building the delta, the desire to be what they must be, to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential. And yet by the night, almost all of us won't say thank you. It takes 0.1 seconds and it's free to say thank you, by the way. And yet by tonight, almost half of us won't say thank you. In the morning, another half of us won't say thank you. And within 3 days, almost all of us will not say thank you. Gratitude finds the light, the love, and the lessons. When there's no evidence or the evidence is contrary to where you want to be, it's gratitude that allows us to see what we're given, to find the light, the love, and the lessons, to understand the protection, promotion, love, and perfection that exists in humility, that we don't know what we don't know. And although the evidence isn't there, contrary to where we want to be, that we have the wisdom, but also the faith to get to where we want to be or better. Things happen so slowly that all of a sudden, when you utilize wisdom and faith to shorten the distance of resistance by being grateful. The second value is forgiveness. Forgiveness brings ease to that perspective because there's only one person to forgive, ourselves, and we can only give what we have. And forgiveness is a value that should be given more often to provide the ease, to remind us, remember us, recollect us to a greater source that's bigger than us, that loves us more than our mom, that in all its infinite power, information, energy, inspiration, protects, promotes, loves, and perfects us at all times, even if we don't understand it or can't see the evidence, or that evidence seems even contrary to where we want to be. And then the lessons that needed to be learned through the third value that I teach in being accountable. Accountability means I have control of my life by a predisposition, not a disposition of surrender. So many people misunderstand the idea of surrender. They think surrender is a disposition in life, that I should sit around high on my mom's couch, broke and sick all the time, dreaming about what I want, surrendering to a higher source that's going to provide me the Ferrari, the house, the boat, the yacht, the things. Most of you are related in some way to Gary Vaynerchuk, who understands there is no surrender in the disposition in life. It's an enjoyment of an intentional definiteness of purpose, of a consistent, persistent pursuit 7 days a week of your own potential, not what other people think want for you or what you don't want, which is how people limit themselves by giving relativity or meaning to their past to limit their future. It is through accountability, the lessons that we learn, understanding you're given a body, a human experience with an infinite amount of possibilities, probabilities, and perspective, and understanding we're here to learn lessons with that body, with that human experience. And the lessons will keep on coming until you learn them. They will repeat themselves until you learn them. The nice thing about the lessons is you will forget every lesson you've ever learned within the infinite lessons that exist. But the power of accountability allows you to access, remember, remind, and recollect all the lessons that exist by clearing the interference between you and the infinite power, energy, information, inspiration that exists at all times. So instead of trying to get more through accountability and control, a predisposition of surrender with a disposition of definiteness of purpose, of enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential, we now can enjoy our lives and learn from it through accountability by utilizing gratitude and forgiveness to say, I am. The ultimate two words of accountability: I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am worthy. Let's just figure out what we're doing to interfere with it, because there's more than enough of everything for everyone. We're just interfering with it. And then finally, the idea of effective communication as a value of inspiration, intuition, intelligence of the infinite. Effectively communicating with others to inspire them, to inspire others, to empower them, to empower others, but also to clear the interference between us and the infinite, in a matter of effective communication of inspiration, intuition, and intelligence to facilitate, to make easy the ease, not the dis-ease in our lives, and to understand how that works. And as we look at these 4 values, to take stock in who we are and what we want to become, through gratitude to give us perspective, forgiveness to give us ease, accountability to learn the lessons of what did I do to be responsible for this, to attract this to myself, to participate in this perception, and most importantly, what am I supposed to learn for it? And then communicating effectively to all the people we want to empower and inspire, and that which inspires us. When we take stock in who we are and what's interfering with what we want to become, we now can enjoy what other people don't like or love, what other people and ourselves don't like or love. And when we can learn to love what we don't love or don't like, or other people don't love or like, and we do that every day without quit in the pursuit of what we want, where we want to be or better, life will tell you all its secrets. The people who tell you you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life are full of shit. When you can enjoy, when you can learn to love what you don't like or love, or other people don't like or love, and you do that every day, when you can learn to do that every day without quitting in the pursuit of where you want to be or better, not what's missing, not what you don't have, not what other people want for you, not what other people think of you. When you're able to do that, life will tell you all its secrets. It'll give you its cheat codes. It'll become easy. And when it's this easy, you'll know why. You'll figure out what's interfering with it, your reaction to fear, with the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful. And you'll learn what you resist persists. You'll stop going over it, under it, through it, around it, lying to it, manipulating it, cheating it, and denying it. You'll simply just stop. Breathe through your nose and out through your mouth and drop down to center, to peace, to ease, and then roll back into where you want to be or better. When your mind, body, and soul are on fire, if you want to know how I lost everything and how I gained it all back, I just learned when my mind, body, and soul's on fire, I got to stop, I got to drop, and I got to roll right into happiness, fulfillment, passion, purpose, and profitability, into abundance, into a world of more than enough of everything for everyone. So I can make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. I appreciate the 20 minutes or so to at least set the stage. Hopefully we created more interest than interesting, and there's some great questions that you can ask me on here to answer any of those. Thank you for the time.
David, that was fantastic. Thank you for, there's so much here. I don't know about you guys. We're definitely gonna be sharing this recording around, but I'm a note taker. I think my hand's hurting quite a bit here. We have got a great question. I'm gonna ask Nadine actually to come up and share her question with us. Nadine is a great coach, both for in corporate America, in addition to all kinds of leaders that are looking to embrace their next chapter. And I loved your question, Nadine. Maybe you want to share a little bit more detail.
Sorry, with elaborating, I was on to question 2. So, David, thank you. Obviously, I'm energized by what you've said, and a lot of it's resonated. Um, I'm going to ask them probably not in order. So, the first one that I wrote down was, do you have any tips to stay the course on being persistent and consistent? And then the other one is, because it's true, like I'm really jazzed now and I'm really excited. I'm going to do my thank yous, etc. But like you said, half of us aren't going to make it to the morning, and then the next half won't make it to the next day. How do you become the half that does? Any tips on that stuff?
I think it's about 98%. If you read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, my favorite, better than Think and Grow Rich, he talks about drifters, and 98% of the people are drifters. 2% of the people are consistent and persistent in the pursuit of a definiteness of purpose. And so when things go bad, it's actually easier for the 2%, because the 98% go down the belief and the limitation that things are going bad, and they drop out, they quit. But the tip is to understand time. Time is my love language, both man-made constructive time, the incremental time of 24 hours a day. I call it God's guarantee. There's only one certainty of tomorrow, and that's 24 hours. in the human experience, there's only one thing I can guarantee you tomorrow, unless it's the last day of your life. I can promise you that if it's not the last day of your life, that all of us have 24 hours of activities. And how are we aligning those activities with where we want to be or better? I call it the divine direction. So we reconcile the infinite at its greatest capacity. And so the tip that I give people is to utilize non-negotiable behavior for half of your life. And what do I mean by that? And it's really simple, is we assign the man-made construct of time to the activities that best align with where we want to be. I call that good behavior. Good behavior is behavior that's aligned with where we want to be, and bad behavior is interfering with it. And so I spend, first of all, 8 hours minimum a day sleeping. I have had a sleep coach for 18 years. I used to want to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which I represented. I now want to be in the Sleep Hall of Fame. Can you imagine the productivity, accessibility, and gratitude? I am one of the best sleepers in the world. I access information better than anyone I know, and I recover better, which allows me to be in 200 cities a day, to be productive, accessible, and gracious. I next spend a minimum of an hour a day on my health. So my health is what? It's what God told me is necessary to live. Breathing, right? I practice breathing. Why? Because if I don't breathe, I die. So I think God's telling me breathing must be pretty important to human experience. Eating, he says if you don't eat, you're going to die. So now I spend a lot of time and money and energy making sure I eat right. Drinking, hydration, you don't drink, you die. And movement. If you don't move, and so I spend a minimum of an hour a day on this necessities, the priorities, then family. I spend a minimum amount of an hour a day. And then I have finance and faith, the study of time and relativity. That equals 12 hours minimum a day. The cool thing is I have 12 hours of awake time, excuse my language, to do whatever the F I want. Because 90% of the success, the exponentiality comes from the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. 90% of my success, knowing that 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. And if you don't believe me, has any of you ever met a kid who studied Spanish 15 minutes a day that didn't get an A? But how many of us, like me, studied Spanish for 15 hours on Saturday or Sunday and didn't get an A? It works with everything in your life. What you pay attention to and what you give intention to equals the coinciding of the universe. Intention is what you do, say, think, feel, and believe, by the way. And so that becomes the mathematical equation of luck. People tell me, especially when they meet my wife, Dave Meltzer is the luckiest guy I've ever met. He's incredible money, incredible family, incredible health. He's so lucky. No, I pay attention to and give attention to what I desire, the coincidences, the coinciding, the consequences and results I want. Make the non-negotiables your core relationship to circumstance and know that time is the only dependent variable of tomorrow. And utilize that time in a divine direction to make all the detours divine to promote, protect, love, and perfect you, and allow divine time to reveal the truth. Because we don't know or understand the outcomes of today. Things happen extremely slowly, then all of a sudden. That's why we need to enjoy it, consistent, persistent in the pursuit of our potential.
Great, thank you. So now I want to watch all your videos and read all your books. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I would, let me give everyone my email address. I'm going to send everyone, I'll pay for the book shipping. If you email me, I'll send you a signed copy of my book as well, david@dmeltzer.com, my email address. I'd be happy to share that with you. And it'd be the best tool I could to empower people, to empower others. And you're such great leaders or intelligent followers. I'd love to give you a little bit of information to make your own.
David, that's super generous. Thank you so much. I think we're all you're gonna get hit up pretty bad here. So thank
I
you.
love that.
All right, we got next up Mark Zablo.
Hey, David, thank you so much for doing this. Super excited to ask you a question or two. Heard you speak a while back And you said something that I've used from time and time again since you've said it, which is when you're getting into a conversation with someone and how to not say what you're thinking first, you say to them, what's on your mind? And it changed a lot of what I do because I usually am the person to just say it first. So I wanted to get your opinion. You mentioned obviously the background with Lee Steinberg. I've read his books. Winning with Integrity taught me a lot about negotiation early on. And one thing was that stuck with me was about positioning, how to really make it more about a win-win for everyone and get the other side to open up. How do you approach people with similar tactics? Like, I'm really looking for like frontline, like, foot soldier tactics when you're trying to get there and someone's very guarded.
Yeah. So let me give you a template. Also, email me. I will give you this extra. I have a open-minded, open-ended question guide that was derived from the lessons I learned working with Lee for so many years, understanding value first. It's really important to understand a few things. One, value itself can only be articulated in three different ways. This is so many billions of dollars are made making this complex. But the truth is, the only way we can articulate value is to give people more of what they like or take away what they don't like, more of what's working or take away what's not working, more of what they know or take away what they don't know. Those are the only three ways that you can articulate value. Notating that in a negotiation or in a business transaction or in abundance of being able to provide value to help one another, know people to help one another, that we need to articulate a value to exceed what we're asking for. Number one rule is to know value. Number two rule, only, especially today, when the total addressable community is so large, only deal with an open mind. Use a 3-no rule when you're dealing with someone that you'd like to engage with. And so understand time, emotion, and value are the only three reasons people have a closed mind. Time, emotion, and value are the only three reasons people have a closed mind. We do want to give 3 chances to a closed mind. Why? Because some people inherently have a closed mind. I'm a really difficult person to sell because I have a huge open mind. What does that mean? I have way more options, opportunities, and touches of favor in my life because I have an open mind. So I'm going to tell you, hey, Mark, I'd love to work with you, but I now have to prioritize it with the thousands and thousands of other opportunities, options, and touches of favor. Where if I'm dealing with a closed mind and utilizing the 3-no rule, which says, hey, obviously this isn't the right time because of time, emotion, or value. When it is, let me know. If I can get either by chance or by circumstance a closed-minded person to engage with me, they don't have any other options. So most likely they're going to move forward with me much quicker than somebody that has a huge open mind all the time. Needless to say, we only want to articulate value to exceed what we're asking for with someone with an open mind. Now, in the context of this open-ended question guide of asking somebody, what are you doing today pertaining to subject matter, topic, expertise, product, service, solution, whatever it may be? It's a really simple methodology and template that I use. Is one, I'm qualifying you with having an open mind by smiling at you, by making fun of you, asking you, hey, did you buy that shirt on sale? Whatever it is, if I get hit in the face, I know the guy has a closed mind. If he laughs at me, I know he has an open mind. Now I can say, hey, what do you know? What don't you know? What do you like? What don't you like? What's working for you? What's not working for you with solar, social media, mentoring, coaching, teaching, whatever it is. And when I get them to explain what they like, don't like, working, not working, or know and don't know, now it's simple. There's only 2 transitions that I have. One, would it help you with? Giving me an opportunity to articulate value to exceed what I'm asking for. Or 2, do you know anyone that can help me pertaining to the subject matter, topic, expertise, product, service, or solution, personal brand, podcast, whatever you're dealing with or doing? Now they're engaged in a collaborative, coordinated movement with me, a commandment with me, working with me. in order to facilitate, to make easy value. And my big close is, can you see any reason you wouldn't want to move forward with either me helping you or you helping me or both? And so using the open-minded, open-ended question guide, the statistical success is outrageous. Now we use an execution model because we have so many options, opportunities, and touches of favor that we need to capture them correctly via technology and a repository, distribute them correctly, internally and externally via capability and alignment with our divine direction, and then prioritize. Right? Remember, prioritization, doing things now and doing things next. Prioritization is the antidote to the biggest problem in business and biggest problem of entrepreneurship. What is it? Feeling overwhelmed or procrastinating. It is literally impossible to procrastinate or feel overwhelmed if you prioritize what's important to you, not what's important to other people, what's missing and you don't have. If you prioritize what to do now and do next, you're 100% of the time going to get shit done. Why? 100% of the things that you do now and do next get done. It's impossible to feel overwhelmed or to procrastinate. So now we capture all options, opportunities, and touches favor, distribute them internally and externally, have a process to prioritize what's important to us. Then we either execute on the prioritized opportunities, or in assessment and reprioritization, we distribute instead internally or externally, once again, to build a community of people that do two things: buy from us and sell for us for life. You want to be a billionaire? Build a community of people that are buying from you and selling for you for life. It's just a matter of time, because the total addressable community and the accessibility of that community are so large that when we facilitate this with an open mind, open heart, and open hands, with an open-ended question guide to understand what they like, don't like, works, don't work, know, don't know, and then be able to ask, would it help you if, or do you know anyone that helps me? Then we capture it, distribute it, prioritize it, and either execute or redistribute it. We are gold, no matter what product, service, solution, or brand or objective you have: philanthropic, profit, nonprofit, for profit, it doesn't matter.
No, thank you. I think just the would it help you with, if, or do you know anyone that can help me? It's a massive bridge I've been trying to figure out how to get to. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to send that guide and exercise and template to everyone. So please email me for that as well.
I will follow up. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Dylan. We got, Gabrielle. Gabrielle.
Hi, David. Thank you so much. This is so aligned. So it sounds like Joe Dispenza may have been an influence. Is that true, untrue?
Yeah, Joe's a good friend of mine. We do, I have a VIP dinner series, which all of you are invited to. And Dr. Joe and I do one in Santa Barbara once a year. Had a great influence on me along. He's on the Transformational Leadership Council with me, with Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, Mary Morrissey, Sharon Lecter, that thought leaders that I personally looked up to. And he's definitely someone not only that I consider a friend, but a mentor for sure.
Amazing. So when there are so many tools and experts, how do you encourage people to ground like in our knowing? And secondly, as we're pursuing the dream, like the thing that we're ultimately guided to do and create in the world, for those of us who also need to be making money while we're building the dream, how do you recommend, because it's not about chasing the income, it's about aligning. So how do you recommend people stay focused and in alignment? And then the last thing is, do you believe that I've been in a place of, I know I'm meant to be of service first. Like, how do I help you? What is it I can provide for you? And that is the thing that leads to prosperity, opportunity.
I love it. So overall, for all three of those questions, we have to understand the infinite loop of giving within the context that our mission needs to be our primary focus, because the commissions will follow if we do say, think, feel, and believe accordingly. And so the first thing is, the fastest way to get to where we want to be on our mission our personal mission of where we want to be is to know that the fastest way to get to where we want to be is know our who can help us get there, or who can we help get there where they want to be. And so to answer your first question, although some people will say you're the aggregate of the 5 people you spend the most time with, I disagree. I know a lot of wonderful people, moms especially, who spend a lot of time with children, but they're not the aggregate of their bank account of their children. They're not the aggregate. So what I've learned in the first question that you asked, when our mission is primary, commissions will follow. Knowing our who is important, but I build teams and I know my position on each team. So I have a family team, which I want to be a point guard or maybe the owner of the team, depending. And I know my role of how I can help other people and they can help me. I have a finance team. I have a sports team. I might be the water boy on the sports team because of my skills and knowledge are so low, but my desire is so great. Remember, desire creates delta, but you only can create a delta from where you are today. And you ask that inherent in all 3 questions. How do I stay aligned with my divine direction within the context of my own personal beliefs, feelings, words, thoughts, and actions? And so the first thing that I think will help you is to reinforce this infinite loop of giving of the mission and allow the commissions to follow, knowing the more I give, the more I'm given.
Yeah.
And if I don't receive all I'm given through gratitude, empathy, accountability, and inspiration, most people have a problem receiving, and you can't give what you don't receive. So they're willing to give everything first on their mission, but then they don't elevate their awareness to all they're given, so they feel punished, especially financially. And then they exacerbate the situation by not receiving more. And then even worse, they have no faith. They claim to have faith in the more than enough, in the infinite. See, I ask for more all day long. I ask for help all day. I have more mentors and coaches and teachers than I have clients. But yet the commissions keep following me for teaching, coaching, and mentoring people and speaking around the world because I give more, I'm given more, I receive more, and I'm worthy of it. And I ask for more than more so that I can give more than more, be given more than more, receive more than more, and ask for more than more than more. And this is the world of more than enough. The biggest problem that I had when my mom passed, as I started, with the true emotions, because my mom is my hero. I'm a 57-year-old mama's boy still. I text my mom. I kept her phone on my plan. I text her every day. I love you. I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I appreciate you. The 4 things I know that I want to know as a parent, I've told my mom literally for 18 years, and I will continue now for the rest of my life to remind her those 4 things. And that is the infinite loop. And people like my mom, she always said, the more you give, the more you receive. But she wasn't worthy of receiving. She never accepted. Oh, it's no. So what happens to the nicest, kindest people like my mom, first responders, United States veterans? You know what happens to the nicest, kindest people is they give everything and they receive less. Well, I am not Einstein. He's my hero. He's that little dude with all the cool hair. These are my 2 heroes back here, Einstein and Napoleon Hill. I am not either one of them, but I know this about math. If I give more than I take back, I'm not going to have enough. I'm going to be in a zero-sum game. And I'm going to end up exactly where I don't want to be, which is incapable of helping others. And so in my mission of empowering others, to empower others, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun, we have to make sure in the context of your 3 questions that our mission and faith are aligned with the commissions following by giving more, being given more, receiving more, and asking for more than more, instead of giving more and receiving less. Does that sound fair?
Amazing. And thank you for bringing your mom up again. I just lost my dad in March, and that was clearly another message from him, who also worked his whole life built himself, like was broke at 50, by 65 a millionaire, lived to 91, and I know he died never feeling quite worthy enough. So, having a celebration of life coming up is a beautiful way that he, I know, will see and get the power and the pathway that he built for me to become my greatest version of me. Thank you,
Beautiful.
David.
Thank you.
Amazing. We got a long list of questions now. Everybody's just getting into it. So we're going to have Dylan, Leah, Jadine, and Mitesh if we can.
Yes, I'll keep them briefer.
No, it's all good. Good stuff.
Perfect. Hey, David, I'm Dylan, and my company, MindLock, works with high performance athletes to develop the mental game. Now, I'm curious for your experience. You have such a rich experience in the sports industry, and now since then into mindset, into gratitude, all these things you speak about. I'm curious, like, how do you see that overlap now between mindset, sports, athletes? I think we're getting to a place where athletes are understanding the importance of the mental game, but I'd love to hear your perspective now too on things like gratitude, things like the ability to kind of manifest and use positive self-talk. Like, how do you think that could be used as a utility on the field, in the ring, on the court, so that athletes can perceive that in a way that's just as important as the physical tools? Knowing what you know about both industries now, how do you see those coming together and the athletes that are able to really use both at the same time?
Yeah, it's so interesting because I have more relationships with athletes today because I coach mindset, heart set, and handset combined. And notice I mentioned mindset first. Mindset is understanding time. The thing about mindset is we want to expand the limitations, the interference that we put on ourselves with the unlimited amount of information we have, of intuition that we have, intelligence and energy. I have more energy at 57 than some of the athletes that I work with. I work with some incredible athletes, the biggest in the world, and on these issues, because I don't interfere with my energy. I don't interfere with the information. I don't interfere with the intelligence. I don't interfere with the intuition. And so for me, it's extremely important. And the real secret is understanding time and relativity, which is why that guy with the cool hair behind me is there, because nobody teaches time and relativity better of understanding the human time, linear time compared to infinite time. And relativity is meaning. So if you've read Viktor Frankl or any other people who understand mindset, mindset is meaning. And if we can't get and understand that we give meaning to everything we see, and we only can see the past, right? We know the only certainty in the future that we can see in the human experience is 24 hours tomorrow. I guarantee all of us will have it, except for if anyone, unfortunately, if it's the last day, you won't have 24 hours. But most of us here will have 24 hours, if not all of us. So what do we want to do? We have to understand that it is the meaning of the past that puts limitations on our imagination and on our self-image. I tell athletes every day, Dylan, you will never overachieve your own self-image. So you can work out as much as you want. You can run as fast as you want. You can spend as much time on nutrition and hydration. You could do as many vision boards in the world and watch as much film as you want. But if you are limiting your self-image, you won't go any farther. And so the mindset is giving meaning to the setbacks, failures, mistakes, successes, defining moments, historical relevances, understanding your reaction to the fear of the past to shorten the distance through wisdom and faith of your own self-image, your own imagination, so that we can align our self-image with where we think in humility we want to be or better. And that could be best illustrated, with the 4-minute mile. To me, that was the ultimate meaning of the past. And so, I think after, and I'm losing his name just because I have so many names in my mind. I've been to Oxford a ton of times too. Whatever the 4-minute mile guy was, after he broke the 4-minute mile, being told that the human body was limited, it could never break the 4-minute mile. Once he did, within 2 weeks, like 8 other people. So to me, that's the ultimate for athletes, proof of meaning of the past, limiting your own self-image in your own divine direction, your own potential.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, and I guess too, as a quick, and you don't have to go into this deep at all, but I think a lot of people struggle too with like but what if I don't have that proof yet, right? And I have, I guess, kind of my own answer to it, but I'm really curious to hear yours too, which is
Roger
an
Bannister, thank you.
athlete they don't have that proof, right? If they haven't necessarily won yet, they haven't necessarily been, through the obstacle that they're seeking to reach. If you have previous evidence, it's a lot easier to say, well, I've done this before, I know what I'm capable of. What's your advice to trying to reach a level that you don't have that proof of, but you really want to get there?
No, it's even worse. It's the evidence is contrary to where we want to be. And that's where faith comes in. And I don't care, other than the fact that I believe in order to have faith, you have to believe in an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source of some kind. Name it as you wish. But when you believe in something bigger than you that protects you, promotes you, loves and perfects you, you have no limitations. You have shifted the paradigm between I'm going to get better, I'm going to break world records, to I am a world record. What am I doing to interfere with it? I am the 4-minute mile. What am I doing to interfere with it? And that's what Roger Bannister said. That's what every great athlete that I work with, Austin Eckler is one of the guys I work with a lot. And imagine being 6th string on the depth chart at the time San Diego Chargers. 6th string. And by the end of the season, you were all pro. You got to have an incredible self-image in order to do that. That is what it takes.
Yeah, love it. Thanks, David.
Next up, we've got Leah.
Hey, thank you so much, David, and apologies for being off camera. I'm driving down from San Francisco to LA right now. My question is, and I think it kind of relates to the last answer of, when you're building something and you really want to be all in, how do you balance not getting in this hamster wheel of more is better, where you're just kind of start to throw spaghetti at the wall, and stay focused and go all in and put all the energy in, but not have that be at the sacrifice of the rest and the exercise, the sleep, and the things that you spoke about?
All in is sleep and exercise. All in is
Yeah.
activities that are aligned with where you want to be or better. All in is shifting the paradigm of I am, what am I doing to interfere with it? And that's why time is so important to me, along with the relativity and the meaning that I give the activities and the prioritization of my non-negotiable behaviors. Most people don't have a relationship with circumstance, so they allow circumstance to interfere with where they want to be or better, instead of taking control with prioritizing activities aligned with and understanding that 8 hours of sleep is far more productive, accessible, and gracious to recovery and access of information than staying up all night. It's a hard thing to understand that sleep is an activity, that faith is an activity, and understanding the power of consistent behavior, that 2 minutes a day equals 2 hours on a Saturday, to get the exponentiality of not attaching our emotions. One of the biggest things that hold people back, where they feel stuck beyond limiting their self-image with meaning, is I will be happy when. So I need to do everything I can. I have to be all in with the activity of attaching my emotions to I'll be happy when. So if I'll be happy when I make $1 million, if I don't align all the activity that is obvious to making $1 million, like more work, showing up, staying in the office, more emails, more phone calls, more, in order to be happy when I make my first $1 million, instead of I am abundant, there's more than enough money for me, what am I doing to interfere with it? And so now, if I look at the necessities of life, what am I doing sleep-wise to interfere with the $1 million? What am I doing drinking-wise to interfere with the $1 million? What am I doing eating-wise to interfere? What am I doing movement-wise? What am I doing meaning-wise? What am I doing time-wise? What am I doing faith-wise? What am I doing financially? You talked about sacrifice. I don't sacrifice shit. I'm an investor. I invest in myself. And so if I sleep in a car for 6 months, it's an investment into my business, because I know there's only 2 ways to make more money: spend less or make more. That's how you make money. And the golden rule of income to me is I want my assets to make more money than I spend. And so in order to get those assets, I need to derive a prioritization of non-negotiable behavior aligned with owning assets that will give me more money than I spend, because that's freedom to me, right? I'm completely free in my life. I'm 57 years old, happily married, and have 4 beautiful children, an amazing life, because I can do what I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. That is freedom. And I promise you, if your assets are not paying you more than your expenses, you will never do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want.
Thank you so much. Love that.
Thank you so much for this. Has been huge. I think we're all going to go back and listen to this a few times so that we can extract all the wisdom.
Thank you, everyone.